Meghan Markle has just fired back with a full-blown legal counterattack as the custody clash takes a shocking new turn. London, February 11, 2026. In a jaw-dropping twist this morning, Meghan filed an official motion demanding a complete review of the temporary custody agreement that had been signed only hours earlier. Legal insiders are calling it the boldest move ever made by a royal family member against her own lineage. The filing, dropped at the California Superior Court, came less than a day after both Meghan Markle and Prince Harry signed a provisional deal under the Windsor, California Custodial Safeguard Act, a document meant to cool tensions and bring some calm to their heated standoff. That agreement supposedly laid out 3 main terms. Each parent would get 2 supervised visits a month, neither could take Archie or Lilibet out of California or the UK without mutual written approval, and the kids' education costs would be split 60-40 between Harry and Meghan. But before the ink could even dry, Meghan turned around and hit back hard with a legal bombshell. She's accusing Prince Harry of coercion, hidden royal influence, and emotional manipulation, saying the entire deal was pushed on her under unfair pressure. Her attorney, Sherry Tilden, made a fiery statement outside the Brentwood legal complex, declaring, "This isn't a parenting plan, it's a containment strategy." She claimed Meghan had been cornered into an unbalanced agreement crafted by powerful forces disguised as family concern. The courtroom drama is now set to explode as Meghan's legal team goes on the offensive. In her newly filed response motion, Meghan Markle's legal team is demanding a complete forensic recheck of every detail, custody terms, finances, and even reputation clauses, tied to the February 11th agreement. The bombshell filing claims Prince Harry's behavior during those tense negotiations was erratic, unpredictable, and emotionally unstable. Citing explosive court mediation footage from February 9th, Meghan's attorneys say Harry allegedly lashed out, accusing her of turning their children into sponsorship tools. That moment, reportedly captured on record, has now become a key piece of evidence in what's shaping up to be a legal storm unlike anything the royals have seen. The motion also drops serious allegations of royal interference, naming Princess Anne and the Royal Household Legal Office for what Meghan's team calls extrajudicial intimidation. They claim these insiders orchestrated private briefings that mysteriously leaked to the media, all allegedly designed to damage Meghan's credibility in court. The 60-40 education cost split? Meghan's camp calls it arbitrary and unjust, pointing to her sharp income drop after she was effectively blacklisted from major commercial platforms following the palace's decision to revoke her brand privileges on February 6th. That move, her team insists, gutted her earning potential and skewed the financial balance. Now, Meghan's lawyers are pushing for the February 11th agreement to be declared unenforceable, demanding a fresh renegotiation under a neutral, non-royal mediator, ideally one appointed by the U.S. Department of Child Welfare Arbitration. Meanwhile, palace insiders are firing back. They're brushing off Meghan's latest move as strategic flailing, saying she's just buying time to rebuild her shaky legal and PR teams. A senior aide to Princess Anne told The Times, "The protocol was activated for one reason, to protect the children. Every institution involved is acting within international legal boundaries." Harry's camp isn't sitting quietly either. On February 10th, his attorney Miles Armitage filed a 17-page preemptive defense, a clear sign they saw this counterattack coming and are ready for the next round in this royal courtroom showdown. The latest filing drops even more explosive material, including screenshots of school withdrawal letters allegedly signed by Meghan back in December 2025 without Prince Harry's consent. The documents also include what appears to be travel plans for Doha and Dubai across early 2026, with handwritten notes about brand visibility for Archie and Lilibet. Adding fuel to the tension, the motion features psychological testimony from a royal family pediatrician who reportedly examined the children after their move to Wolverton Cottage, noting signs of conflicting parental identity construction. Prince Harry's response, released through his legal counsel, came out strong and clear. His statement reads, "The agreement was signed in good faith and it prioritizes our children's stability. Any challenge to that stability will be met with full transparency and legal resolve." His tone signals that he's done playing defense and is ready to push back with everything he's got. Meanwhile, Meghan is taking a strategic turn, trying to flip the entire narrative. Her legal team is focusing on 5 key pillars: income, housing, parenting history, spousal behavior, and mental health stability. She's also pulling from California's family law statutes that give special consideration to maternal caregiving, arguing that Harry's role since 2020 has been symbolic, not structural. But the filing doesn't stop there. It takes a fiery swing by reopening past allegations of Harry's alleged substance use disorder. Meghan's team references 3 incidents from 2017 to 2019 where Harry supposedly went missing for hours during family events, plus 1 moment of verbal aggression while under the influence in early 2018. While these claims have surfaced before, this marks the first time Meghan is officially using them in court as part of her legal reasoning to block joint custody rights. The move is bold, controversial, and bound to shake the royal walls once again. Meghan's legal team is now coming out swinging, declaring that the British monarchy has zero legal standing in U.S. custody matters. They're demanding that Princess Anne, Prince William, and the entire royal household withdraw any formal or informal claim of guardianship over Archie and Lilibet. This bold stance is a direct shot at the Windsor, California Reciprocal Accord of 2024, a deal Meghan's own advisors once supported in exchange for keeping her royal titles and brand privileges after stepping back from royal duties. The motion doesn't stop there, it dives right back into the long-brewing money battles. At the center of the storm is the Hartwell Estate, a lush 33-acre countryside property in Gloucestershire that was reportedly designated in Queen Elizabeth II's private will for Harry. Then comes the $14 million Montecito mansion, which Meghan claims was purchased through shared ArcUL funds. According to the filing, about $7.8 million in joint savings and securities tied to those assets are now frozen under court order. Meghan's team is also pushing for spousal support of $187,000 a month, arguing her career hit major setbacks due to what she calls royal entanglement and lasting reputational harm. But the real bombshell lands in the final section. Meghan is now challenging Harry's control over ArcUL Foundation's digital assets and intellectual property. She accuses him of secretly redirecting funds meant for their joint charity projects into his own initiative, Invictus Legacy Education. The filing even claims Harry asked Meta and Spotify to restrict her access to shared platforms without court approval. This latest twist turns their legal battle into a full-blown power struggle, royal, financial, and digital, all unfolding under California law. According to new filings, Prince Harry reportedly initiated private talks to dissolve ArcUL UK without Meghan's signature or prior consent. The court has now locked in a preliminary hearing for February 16, 2026, at the Santa Barbara Family Law Courthouse. It's set to include representatives from both sides of the Atlantic, with amicus support from the UK's Royal Child Welfare Office and custody observers from the US State Department. The tension is building fast, and all eyes are on what could be the most closely watched custody showdown of the decade. Less than 24 hours after Meghan dropped her bombshell counterfiling challenging the February 11th custody agreement, the British royal household struck back, and this time with legal precision instead of royal silence. Early this morning, an internal palace brief confirmed that the monarchy has reactivated its full custodial advisory committee and officially appointed Duchess Sophie of Edinburgh as co-guardian during the custodial transition process. The confidential summary of that document reportedly reads, should the U.S. court recognize Prince Harry's plea for structured royal oversight, the Crown cannot afford ambiguity. The message is clear. This isn't just about royal privilege anymore, it's about control, image, and the future of two royal children caught between two legal worlds. The legal brief signed by Lord Chancellor Sir Alec Penrose was delivered simultaneously to the UK Family Division Court and through cross-jurisdictional alignment to the British Consulate in Los Angeles. That triggered direct communication with the California court system under the supervision of the Royal Household Child Welfare Committee, led by Princess Anne herself. Meghan's camp continues to insist the monarchy is overstepping its ceremonial role, but the palace seems fully prepared to prove otherwise, setting the stage for a transatlantic legal battle that's only just heating up. The palace has now hit back with a sharp rebuttal, claiming Meghan's entire argument is based on a misreading of the Windsor, California Custodial Treaty of 2024. Though the agreement is barely known to the public, insiders reveal it quietly grants temporary dual sovereign status to minor royal heirs in cases where there's proven emotional, reputational, or custodial risk. The move is both symbolic and deeply tactical, giving the monarchy a legal foothold in cross-border custody disputes that could redefine royal precedent. And then came the moment that sent the internet into overdrive. Princess Catherine made her first ever public statement on the matter late last night. Filmed at Grey House, the very estate where Archie and Lilibet are expected to relocate under the proposed protocol, Catherine stood calmly in front of a wall of children's artwork. In her composed message, she said, "Whatever role I am called to play, I will carry it with the grace and clarity the children deserve." She ended with a striking line that quickly went viral. "This is not about inheritance, this is about innocence." The video was uploaded to the royal family's official YouTube and TikTok pages and exploded online, pulling in 11.4 million views in just 8 hours. Global audiences, especially across Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, began shifting sentiment in favor of the monarchy's polished and reserved tone, a clear contrast to Meghan's fiery courtroom filings and emotional public stance. But the day wasn't done throwing curveballs. At exactly 8:45 a.m. PST, Harry's legal team filed a new motion requesting independent psychological evaluations for both him and Meghan. The filing references stress reports from 2019 to 2022 and cites publicly documented emotional health incidents, including Meghan's alleged media-related distress episodes that reportedly led to 2 hospitalizations in 2021 and 2023, with sealed medical records now under review. The stakes just skyrocketed. This legal chess match has officially turned psychological. The court filings took another shocking twist when Harry's own mental health transparency, once praised as brave and progressive, was suddenly flipped against Meghan's camp. His past openness, referenced in RQL insurance filings, is now being used in reverse to highlight his honesty, recovery, and emotional reform, arguing that his self-awareness actually proves his fitness as a parent. But Meghan's attorney, Sherry Tilden, wasn't having it for a second. She fired back with a formal objection, slamming the motion as weaponized vulnerability masquerading as concern. The move, she argued, twisted Harry's public candor into a courtroom tactic, turning compassion into ammunition. While that legal standoff brewed, another front exploded: the financial battlefield. Leaks from inside the RQL Foundation's finance department confirmed that an IRS audit launched in late January 2026 has now been formally shared with both U.S. and Royal Legal Counsel. Early findings are jaw-dropping, reportedly uncovering $1.1 million in itemized transfers from RQL Foundation to a UAE-based consulting firm linked to Meghan's Project Emancipation marketing blueprint. The documents suggest the project planned to use child-related imagery for future luxury wellness campaigns without Harry's written consent. That wasn't the only red flag. The audit also revealed a delayed 2025 charity report that allegedly failed to declare more than $2.3 million in speaking fees categorized under brand equity advisory. These inconsistencies have now triggered official cross-border scrutiny. This morning, the UK Charities Commission, acting jointly with the Crown Financial Office, released a stern public statement. Where any charitable entity bears the name or image of royal minors, it shall be subject to elevated scrutiny. This is non-negotiable. Behind palace doors, morale seems to be crumbling. Multiple sources close to RQL confirm that at least 3 senior staff members, including the Director of Brand Partnerships and the Deputy Legal Counsel, abruptly resigned within 24 hours of Meghan's latest filing. One insider summed up the atmosphere perfectly, saying, "No one wants to be caught on the wrong side of a global guardianship fight involving sovereigns and subpoenas. The royal and legal chaos is spinning faster than ever, and no one seems safe from its fallout." New whispers are echoing through the entertainment world. Major partners like Spotify and Penguin Random House are reportedly rethinking Meghan's upcoming 2026 solo project, Woman Without a Crown. Insiders claim both companies fear massive reputational blowback and potential legal fallout as Meghan and Harry's transatlantic custody battle spirals out of control. What started as a private parenting dispute has now erupted into a high-stakes, multi-layered showdown stretching across law, reputation, and royal influence. The conflict has stormed into a new arena where digital identity, disputed inheritance, and explosive internal leaks collide. It's no longer just a family fight, it's a full-scale institutional crisis pulling in everyone from British aristocrats to Silicon Valley tech giants and U.S. probate courts. At the blazing center of the storm stands the Hartwell Estate, a lavish 33-acre royal-adjacent property in Gloucestershire worth nearly £46 million. Long rumored to be part of a sealed inheritance arrangement between Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Harry, the estate is now ground zero for Meghan's latest legal move. Her team insists the property was personally promised to Harry during the Queen's 2021 private council, an arrangement allegedly tied to verbal prenuptial agreements from 2018 that were meant to secure a conjugal heritage asset for Archie and Lilibet's future. Then, in a dramatic Valentine's Week twist, at 9:31 a.m. PST on February 14th, Meghan's legal counsel officially filed a petition to preserve claim with the Los Angeles County Probate Division. The filing demands immediate intervention to block any reclassification of Hartwell as a sovereign estate and to force full disclosure of every trust document signed between 2021 and 2023 involving Prince Harry. The legal and media worlds are bracing for impact because this isn't just about royal property anymore, it's about who controls legacy, inheritance, and the very definition of what remains royal after the crown comes off. "My client is not trying to seize royal land," declared Sherry Tilden, Meghan's sharp-tongued attorney. She's simply ensuring her children receive what was once promised as their natural legacy. But within hours, palace officials clapped back hard. A formal statement from the Lord Chamberlain's office insisted that Hartwell Estate remains unallocated sovereign land, not subject to any inheritance guarantees, citing internal records from a 2022 property allocation committee chaired by Princess Anne herself. As both legal camps geared up for yet another courtroom collision, the saga took a completely unexpected turn. Lady Louise Windsor, usually a quiet royal presence but recently groomed by Princess Anne as a custodian in training, was suddenly spotted landing at Dulles International Airport, arriving under diplomatic seal from RAF Northolt. Her mission? To conduct an on-site welfare review of Archie and Lilibet under the framework of the Custodial Protection Treaty of 2024. She wasn't alone. Traveling with her were 2 child welfare officers and a trauma psychologist from the Royal College of Pediatrics. Officially, Lady Louise's job is only to observe, not intervene, but her unexpected arrival sent shockwaves through Meghan's Brentwood inner circle. Sources close to the Duchess say her team is pushing back fiercely, refusing to allow any unsupervised visits, citing California's standing injunction against foreign custodial interference. The tension is sky-high, with insiders whispering that Meghan views the visit as an intimidation tactic wrapped in protocol. Still, Lady Louise's presence is fully protected by diplomatic cover, making her access non-negotiable. Her final report will feed directly into the royal family's next guardianship statement, set for public release on March 1st, a statement that could shift global perception once again. Meanwhile, another battlefront has flared up, this time in the digital world. Control over the @ArchieLily Instagram account, which skyrocketed in popularity during the Sussex's 2023 documentary era, has become the newest flashpoint in this royal custody and branding war. Online influence, estate inheritance, and global perception are now tangled together, and the fallout is far from over. The @ArchieLily Instagram account, now boasting a staggering 3.2 million followers, has become the latest flashpoint in Meghan and Harry's intensifying custody and image war. In a dramatic court motion filed at 10:12 a.m. PST, Meghan requested full digital custody of the account, demanding that all photos featuring her or the children be immediately removed from any royal-controlled platforms. She also asked for a court order barring Prince Harry from mentioning her or their children in any interviews, books, or public appearances tied to philanthropy or media. Her argument was clear and forceful. The account, she claimed, was personal property created during their marriage, directly connected to her creative labor, emotional storytelling, and branding identity. Meghan's legal team insists she built the platform from the ground up, turning it into a space for family storytelling and advocacy, not palace publicity. But Harry's side fired back with receipts, literally. His lawyers released leaked internal meta-documents showing that the account had actually been registered and maintained under the Windsor Child Digital Archives UK, a framework designed in 2022 by the palace's Legal Coordination Office to protect royal minors' online presence. The documents list Prince William, Princess Anne, and Prince Harry, not Meghan, as institutional co-owners, immediately undermining her claim to sole ownership. "This isn't just an Instagram account," declared Miles Armitage, Harry's attorney. "It's a strategic digital asset, and it cannot be leveraged without consequence." His statement sent shockwaves through media and tech circles as the case now treads into uncharted legal ground. Who owns a royal child's image in the digital age? Meanwhile, tensions inside the Archewell Foundation are reaching a breaking point. 3 anonymous employees have reportedly filed sworn affidavits to both the IRS and the California State Attorney General's office, alleging that Meghan's private marketing division used joint foundation funds to cover $1.8 million in brand launch expenses. The accusations suggest blurred lines between charity and commerce, and as these financial claims pile up, the royal-turned-Hollywood empire seems to be cracking under its own weight. The storm only deepened when investigators uncovered even more alarming details. Internal audits revealed that Archewell Foundation's co-trustees allegedly manipulated child-centered content to lure sponsors. Among the most shocking findings was a pitch to license a children's cartoon loosely based on Archie and Lilibet, a proposal reportedly greenlit without any legal approval from Harry. One former staffer came forward with a damning written statement. "We were told it was her legacy and she didn't need approval. We were just following a vision. Now it looks like fraud." That confession has sent tremors through both royal and non-profit circles. A full forensic audit is now officially underway, jointly conducted by the UK Charities Commission and the US Office of Tax-Exempt Organization Review. Early estimates suggest potential fund misappropriation ranging anywhere from $2.7 million to $4.4 million USD. If proven true, it could mark one of the most dramatic charity controversies in recent royal history. Meanwhile, public opinion is exploding across media lines. On The View, hosts clashed over why Prince Harry hadn't been investigated earlier for what some labeled potential coercive control. Over on Fox News, a fiery panel fired back, claiming Meghan weaponized motherhood, the monarchy is finally protecting the heirs. Then came The Guardian, dropping a front-page editorial titled "When Branding Replaces Parenting," calling the Sussex's digital feud a terrifying omen for modern parenthood in the influencer age. Through it all, Buckingham Palace remains officially silent. No statements, no leaks, just a chilling calm as internal security measures and legal reinforcements quietly ramp up behind the scenes. As the custody war between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle spirals into deeper chaos, the focus has shifted from family and image to money and power. What started as a fight over parenting has now exploded into a transatlantic audit war, one that could reshape not just their reputations but the entire legacy of modern royalty itself. At the fiery center of this legal storm are explosive accusations that Meghan Markle allegedly misused joint marital assets to bankroll personal branding projects, all while concealing offshore accounts and manipulating insurance filings to maintain her luxury lifestyle amid what critics call a collapsing public image. Her team, however, is firing right back, accusing Prince Harry of hiding Windsor-linked assets and properties to block a lawful split of marital wealth. The financial filings submitted this morning to the California Superior Court stretch a staggering 87 pages, reading less like a divorce petition and more like the forensic post-mortem of a failed empire. The most headline-grabbing detail? Meghan's alleged $2.3 million in personal purchases made between 2022 and 2025 using joint credit lines. According to court exhibits, the spending spree included high-end fashion buys from Hermes, Dior, and Elie Saab, alongside nearly $670,000 in private jet bookings for solo trips to Abu Dhabi and Nice. There's also $310,000 in media coaching and image enhancement sessions reportedly tied to her now-defunct Eversage product line. Harry's legal team didn't stop at receipts. They dropped a trove of Amex and HSBC statements, cross-referenced with RQL Foundation financial logs, suggesting that these charges were quietly routed through Foundation sub-accounts. In a leaked sworn deposition, a former RQL accountant delivered a damning statement. Invoices were retroactively labeled as brand representation or philanthropy alignment, but we were paying for luxury handbags and international press escorts. Meghan's representatives are fiercely denying all wrongdoing, claiming that every expense was connected to identity expansion, a strategy meant to merge philanthropy and personal advocacy. Still, with auditors circling and headlines multiplying, this financial showdown is painting a devastating portrait of a royal power couple turned corporate battlefield, and the receipts just keep piling up. The saga took an even darker turn as investigators uncovered what could be the most damaging evidence yet. A redacted file from the U.S. Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, confirmed the existence of two Cayman Islands accounts tied to a company called Echo Clover Limited, reportedly registered in the British Virgin Islands under an RQL-aligned trustee. According to the document, these offshore accounts allegedly received $890,000 in transfers from Dubai-based event organizers between August and December 2025, funds that were never disclosed in RQL's tax filings or Meghan's individual financial declarations. The revelation has sparked a frenzy across both US and UK financial watchdogs, as the money trail now extends deep into international territory. A spokesperson for Meghan quickly hit back, calling the filings defamatory, outdated, and irrelevant to custodial matters, insisting the transactions were tied to old corporate structuring long before her current legal disputes. But behind the palace walls, the reaction has been far less forgiving. Royal insiders confirm that the palace has officially forwarded the FinCEN documents to the UK's Serious Fraud Office for review under the 2023 Crown Transparency Statute, signaling that this is no longer just a family scandal, but potentially a financial investigation with global implications. Meanwhile, Prince William and Princess Catherine are no longer sitting quietly on the sidelines. On February 13th, William reportedly called a private emergency session with the Royal Household Financial Office, ordering that all Windsor-linked assets co-managed by Harry, including trademarks, royalties, and speaking contracts, be placed under independent escrow review until further notice. Adding to the intensity, Princess Catherine was photographed later that same day entering Highgrove legal chambers, clutching what appeared to be sealed documents believed to concern new royal child welfare provisions. With finances, family, and global scrutiny colliding, the royal crisis has now morphed into a full-blown financial thriller, and the world is watching every move. Sources close to the palace legal circle have confirmed that Princess Catherine is preparing to submit a co-statement of logistical capacity, a formal declaration of her readiness to serve as an educational and emotional guardian for Archie and Lilibet, should the court approve a full custodial reassignment. One insider described the palace mood as quietly strategic but emotionally firm, signaling that the monarchy is moving with precision, not panic. In a move that stunned observers, Princess Anne convened an emergency legal summit on February 14th at the Windsor Legal Institute, gathering senior figures from the International Family Law Commission and legal scholars affiliated with the Hague Convention on International Child Abduction. The purpose? To pre-authorize cross-border guardianship enforcement mechanisms, effectively laying the legal groundwork to intervene if Meghan attempts any unsanctioned international relocation or leverages diplomatic channels to block UK custodial oversight. A Canadian delegate who attended the summit reportedly told The Telegraph, "This is no longer about divorce, this is about creating new precedents for what happens when royalty, brand, and law collide across continents." The statement captures just how unprecedented this entire situation has become. a royal custody war now reshaping international family law itself. By the end of the emergency session, delegates had drafted a new document titled the Sandringham Declaration on Sovereign Minor Protections, designed to codify safeguards for royal children caught in cross-border disputes. The full text is set for public release on February 20th, and legal analysts are already calling it one of the most consequential royal legal frameworks in modern history. But Meghan's camp wasn't about to stay silent. In a fiery counterpunch, her legal team filed a preliminary inquiry with the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, accusing Britain's hereditary institutions of judicial colonialism. The claim alleges that powerful royal entities are trying to erase a woman of color's maternal rights through systemic bias and institutional overreach. The accusation has set off a diplomatic firestorm, turning a bitter custody dispute into a global human rights confrontation that's now impossible to ignore. The inquiry sent to Geneva may be non-binding, but its very submission speaks volumes. Meghan Markle is no longer positioning this as a custody case, but as a global civil rights battle. By reframing the narrative, she's signaling to the world that what's at stake isn't just parenting, it's race, power, and the right to self-determination under royal shadow. While palace officials have refused to make any public comment, insiders reveal that the monarchy is quietly drafting what's being described as a cold, institutional, and legally bulletproof rebuttal. Behind closed doors, the royal legal machine is moving at full speed, determined to shut down Meghan's human rights framing before it gains international traction. As the fifth consecutive day of escalating filings unfolded, what once looked like a private custody dispute has now transformed into a high-stakes war for control over a media empire, a digital dynasty, and the narrative legacy of two royal children. Earlier today, Prince Harry's legal team filed a last-minute emergency injunction to stop Meghan from unilaterally dissolving the Archewell Foundation's digital archive, a vault of media assets valued at over $37 million USD. This archive reportedly includes branding portfolios, licensing contracts, media development rights, and a treasure trove of unpublished intellectual property, from exclusive behind-the-scenes footage to deeply personal interviews and podcast recordings featuring Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. Meghan's legal team fired back with an aggressive counter-motion, demanding exclusive control over Archewell's digital servers, admin passwords, and editorial rights. Her argument, that her creative vision and authorship make up more than 70% of Archewell's branded storytelling identity. Filed with the California State Digital Asset Tribunal, Meghan's motion goes even further. She's demanding sole curatorship over all interviews involving the children, permanent deletion of any unpublished content not contractually bound to sponsors, and exclusive ownership of all future revenue tied to family likeness or image licensing. This latest legal crossfire pushes the feud into uncharted digital territory, where intellectual property, family image rights, and royal heritage collide in a battle that's as modern as it is historic. Every filing now feels like another act in a real-life royal drama, one where reputation, legacy, and billions in digital equity are all on the line. The Crown wasted no time firing back. Within mere hours, Prince Harry's legal counsel invoked the Royal Minor Identity Protection Order (RMIPO), filed in collaboration with the UK Digital Sovereignty Bureau. The powerful measure immediately restricts any monetized reuse or distribution of royal child imagery without explicit consent from both their legal custodians and the Office of Royal Media Ethics. A confidential memo from Princess Anne's office, which was quietly leaked by a royal household insider, carried a pointed message: the Crown will not allow the children's faces to become an exit strategy. The statement sent shockwaves through the press and drew a firm line in the sand. This battle isn't just about money anymore, it's about control over identity itself. Meanwhile, court-appointed forensic accountants have now submitted a preliminary ownership audit, exposing the foundation's tangled internal structure. According to the report, both Meghan and Harry hold 48% equity each in Archewell, with the remaining 4% assigned to a third-party philanthropic trust affiliated with Spotify Cares under a limited liability clause. But even that balance of power is now in dispute. Meghan's legal counsel has advanced a radical new argument, claiming that her emotional authorship over Archewell's public narrative entitles her to a controlling interest in all outward-facing digital platforms. The term she's using, narrative equity, has already caused a stir among media law experts, who warn that if accepted, it could rewrite the legal definitions of personal branding across both the entertainment and nonprofit sectors. As legal analysts scramble to interpret what this could mean for digital ownership worldwide, Archewell's original Articles of Incorporation 2020 have now been placed under judicial seal, with a full intellectual property arbitration scheduled for March 11, 2026. This royal legal showdown has officially evolved into a precedent-setting clash over the future of storytelling rights, where emotion meets economics and the concept of authorship itself is being tested in a courtroom watched by the entire world. For months, Meghan Markle's legal strategy seemed backed by loyal coverage from progressive U.S. media, but that tide is starting to shift fast. Major headlines this morning reveal a wave of skepticism sweeping across once sympathetic outlets. New York Magazine dropped a cutting feature titled "The Brand That Ate the Baby: When Legacy Becomes Leverage." The Washington Post followed with "Custody Meets Capitalism in the House of Windsor," and CNN Opinion didn't hold back either, publishing how Meghan overplayed her hand in the court of public emotion. Even social media has turned into a virtual battleground. One viral tweet from @UK Royal Watch read, "She demanded privacy, then trademarked their names. The Crown demanded structure and gave them safety. Who's really protecting the children now?" The post has been shared over 1 million times, signaling a major narrative shift online. Public polling reflects the change too. A YouGov Snap survey released at 7 a.m. GMT shows support for the monarchy's actions climbing to 68%, especially among younger audiences in the UK and Canada. That swing marks a dramatic reversal from just months ago when sympathy leaned heavily toward Meghan's side. Through all this turbulence, King Charles III has remained entirely out of public view, still recuperating at Sandringham following an unannounced medical procedure earlier in February. In his absence, all key royal decisions have been formally delegated to Prince William and Princess Anne. Yet according to palace insiders, the king is preparing to re-emerge, not in court, but on camera. A televised address is reportedly scheduled for February 21st, marking the one-year anniversary of his 2025 constitutional transition of duties. Sources claim the speech will focus on institutional stability, child protection, and the enduring values of sovereign neutrality. If delivered, this would not only be King Charles's first public statement since the crisis began, but possibly his final one before full abdication. The monarchy, it seems, is ready to reclaim its voice, and the world will be watching every word. In a stunning final twist, rumors are exploding across royal and legal circles. Archie and Lilibet have reportedly been relocated from Wolverton Cottage to an undisclosed secure site believed to be within the Highgrove security corridor. Sources say the sudden move followed urgent warnings from palace intelligence after multiple drone flyovers and cyber intrusion attempts targeting the children's previous residence were detected. To counter the growing threats, all digital contact with the children has now been funneled through the Royal Child Welfare Firewall, a new multi-layered communications network jointly supervised by Duchess Sophie and Lady Louise Windsor. The palace has issued no public comment, but insiders confirm that security measures have quietly shifted to maximum containment mode. Meanwhile, the final act of the Windsor-Sussex custody saga unfolded today behind the sealed doors of the Santa Barbara Family Law Courthouse, sending shockwaves from London to Los Angeles. At 10:30 a.m. PST, Meghan Markle arrived flanked by 4 attorneys and her personal digital strategist. Her entrance was pure symbolism. No royal jewelry, no Archewell branding, just black slacks, a sharp-fitted blazer, and a look of calm defiance. Inside courtroom 4B, presiding Judge Justice Maya Caldwell, a veteran in international family disputes, called both sides to the table for a closed evidentiary hearing. What followed, according to insider leaks surfacing hours later, was nothing short of a legal and emotional breakdown of Meghan's final line of defense. Among the most shocking evidence introduced was a leaked internal memo, ominously titled Project Mirror. The document was reportedly recovered from a private Archewell server and is said to outline an alleged exit strategy involving coordinated media narratives, digital rebranding, and selective content deletion ahead of potential court sanctions. While the palace remains silent and Meghan's representatives have yet to respond, one thing is clear. This final courtroom showdown has exposed layers of secrecy, strategy, and emotion that have transformed a royal custody dispute into a full-blown global spectacle. The world now waits to see how this story, one written in law, legacy, and heartbreak, will finally end. The leaked Project Mirror file revealed the most explosive revelation yet, an alleged emergency relocation plan outlining Meghan Markle's secret move to Qatar. According to insider reports, the plan detailed her intent to enter a multi-year media development contract with an entertainment subsidiary of the Qatari Sovereign Fund, while seeking dual citizenship through honorary sponsorship. The document also mapped out plans to enroll Archie and Lilibet in an elite international academy in Lusail, effectively bypassing both UK and US custodial notification laws. Dated January 18, 2026, the plan was reportedly never disclosed to Prince Harry, who only learned of its existence after a court-ordered forensic IT audit of Archewell's encrypted servers uncovered the hidden file. When the document was finally presented in court, Meghan sat in silent composure, showing no outward reaction. Her lead attorney, Sherry Tilden, scrambled to downplay the discovery, dismissing it as an unsolicited brand blueprint, not a relocation plan. But the technical evidence told a different story. Metadata from the recovered file showed active timestamps, tracked edits, and authentication logs tied directly to Meghan's personal login credentials. The digital fingerprints were undeniable, and the courtroom fell into a stunned hush as the implications settled in. Back in Windsor, the royal family had already shifted into decisive action. At 2:45 p.m. GMT, Princess Anne convened a final emergency meeting of the Sovereign Custodial Oversight Council, where an extraordinary decision was made official. Princess Catherine and Duchess Sophie of Edinburgh would serve as permanent joint guardians of Archie and Lilibet within the United Kingdom. The declaration also confirmed that all Windsor-aligned properties, digital assets, and educational programs tied to the children would be placed under joint royal custodianship, effectively sealing their future within the Crown's direct protection. As the ruling broke, the courtroom chaos collided with royal order, a clear signal that the monarchy had moved from defense to full control. Meghan's silence in that moment said everything. The story she once directed had been taken out of her hands, rewritten by forces far bigger than her brand. All decisions regarding Archie and Lilibet's future will now fall under the newly ratified GR House Protection Act, officially enacted on February 17, 2026. The ruling cements full sovereign oversight of the children, stripping Meghan Markle of all remaining influence over royal trusts, branding rights, and digital governance. According to an updated Royal Gazette entry published this morning, effective March 1, 2026, all custodial, educational, and representational matters concerning Master Archie Harrison and Princess Lilibet Diana shall be managed solely under Crown authority. The statement ended coldly. The Crown recognizes no external claims until the minors reach majority age. Inside the Santa Barbara courtroom, the atmosphere was electric, tense enough to cut with a knife. As the session drew to a close, Justice Maya Caldwell turned directly toward Meghan and delivered the line that would instantly dominate global headlines. "You cannot weaponize motherhood and reject responsibility in the same breath." Those words ricocheted across every media platform within minutes, sparking a digital firestorm that defined the day's narrative. Observers described Meghan's reaction as eerily composed yet visibly shaken, her face expressionless, eyes blinking rapidly, lips pressed so tightly they trembled. Meanwhile, Prince Harry, seated beside his counsel, lowered his head and closed his eyes. No victory gesture, no relief, just silent exhaustion. Then came the official verdict. The February 11th agreement, once temporary, was formally upheld as the permanent legal framework governing the couple's custody arrangement. The ruling prohibits any relocation attempts without mutual written consent from both parents and establishes shared custody, supervised by a neutral child welfare liaison jointly appointed by UK and US courts. Control of the @Archie Lilibet social media account has been permanently transferred to the Royal Child Welfare Trust, effectively ending Meghan's digital authorship over her children's public image. In addition, the court ordered Meghan to reimburse $1.3 million USD in misallocated Archie Well funds within 90 days. As the gavel struck, the courtroom fell into silence. No cheers, no tears, only the weight of an ending that felt historic. The royal custody war that began as a family dispute has now closed as a legal monument, one that redefined power, parenthood, and the price of control under the Crown. All pending sponsorships and promotional contracts using Archie and Lilibet's likeness have been officially voided, including high-value deals with a French luxury skincare brand and a Los Angeles podcast studio. The Archewell Foundation will now be fully dissolved, with its remaining assets to be distributed under charitable trust law. The court also imposed a strict restriction. Meghan Markle is barred from launching or affiliating with any brand, foundation, or media project containing the words Arch, Windsor, Sussex, or Lilibet for the next 10 years. As the final ruling was read aloud, Meghan sat completely still. Her attorneys leaned in, whispering quietly, but she didn't respond. She blinked just once and remained composed. No cameras were permitted inside, but according to reporters outside, she emerged at 1:23 p.m., her expression frozen between disbelief and heartbreak. There was no Archewell team waiting, no flashing lights, no tinted SUV, only a modest car driven by a private assistant. She left silently, and for the first time since 2018, she left alone. Just after sunset, Prince Harry released a brief handwritten statement posted to the royal family's official website. In his own words, he wrote, "I will never be perfect, but I will be present. I will be a father before I am anything else." It was signed simply, Henry Charles Albert David. No duke, no prince, just a father stripped of titles, but not of purpose. By nightfall, it was over. The monarchy had closed its gates, not with vengeance, but with quiet precision. Meghan Markle now stands financially restrained, legally bound, and globally scrutinized. Archewell has ended. Custody is finalized, and history will remember February 18, 2026 as the day the Crown defended its children, not through power or pride, but through discipline, structure, and silence. The Windsor machine didn't rage, it didn't gloat, it simply outlasted her, turning endurance itself into victory. And that's how the most public royal battle of the modern era came to its silent close. No winners, no fairy tales, just the echo of choices that changed everything. If you've followed this saga and want to see more explosive breakdowns of stories shaping power, fame, and legacy, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice keeps these stories alive, and trust me, there's always more coming.